Okay, your good name is?
So my name is NANDAGOPAN.
Okay, NANDAGOPAN, for the initial 15-20 minutes, we'll have a formal one-to-one in which I will ask broadly some questions, and then I will give you my feedback after 15-20 minutes, and we'll take your doubts and we'll have informal communication. Okay.
Okay.
So start from your introduction.
Okay, sir. So I am NANDAGOPAN from Chenganur and Alappuzha district of Kerala. I did my schooling from Chenganur and Kottayam in Kerala, and my graduation from Government Medical College in Kottayam. Since then, I practiced as a medical officer in charge of a de-addiction center in Government Hospital Rani, and currently I'm working as a medical officer in District Mental Health Program in Pathanamthitta district of Kerala, sir.
Which program? District?
Mental Health Program, sir.
District Mental Health.
Yes, sir.
So you are a doctor by profession?
Yes, sir.
MBBS?
Yes, sir.
It is a good profession, and you are a doctor since last 5-6 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Then why you want to change as a doctor, as a profession? You have working experience in the de-addiction center as well, plus the mental health also. Why you want to join services?
First of all, some experiences from my work itself has inspired me to take up the professional civil services. For example, sir, while I was working as an intern, one day there was a particular incident that touched me. A patient suffered from seizure, but there was no space for the patient to lie in the bed because it was so much crowded. So we, as the students, tried to get the message to the superintendent and to the upper authorities, but we failed miserably that day. So that was one instance, sir. And also during my experience working in the field of mental health, I have seen closely the social problems that my district faces. For example, sir, some policies are designed from the top, but when they reach the bottom, for example, if you want to conduct a program through ASHA workers, they aren't provided the sufficient remuneration. So these kind of problems have helped me shape my vision, sir.
But how as a DC you will increase the salary of ASHA worker? There also you can't do anything.
Sir, as a DC, I can conduct a field survey and see whether the programs are effectively implemented with my experience of working in this field, sir. So I can maybe conduct a survey, visit the field, ask some ASHA workers about their experiences. And if I can get the feedback, then I can send the feedback to my upper authorities and so that the policies are shaped better in the future, sir.
Tell me how Kerala has done really good into the health sector. So if we will say that some good model of Kerala with respect to during COVID also, and in general also that the model of Kerala which Kerala adopted is really good. Can you enlighten us with what exactly Kerala has done?
So in health sector, Kerala has been focusing primarily on the primary health sector with a network of primary health centers, which are being now converted to family health centers. The OP has been extended to evening also. We have been providing focus on non-communicable diseases, mental health diseases, overall physical health, and so on. So primary health would be the primary focus. Secondly, the referral system, secondary and tertiary centers with a network of medical colleges has also been improving vastly over the last few years. Sir. And thirdly, use of digital health facilities like e-Sanjeevani has also been greatly helping the population, sir.
Okay, so what is the name of your district?
So my district is Alappi or Alappuzha.
Yeah. So Alappi is famous for its solid waste management model, which India represented in one of the UN at the UN stage. What is that model of solid waste in Alappi?
So Alappi firstly concentrated on source segregation, that is at the point of collection. Then they formalized the collection of solid wastes, the chain of rack pickers, and finally space was found out for the management of solid wastes. So effectively separating them from the population. So this robust mechanism found recognition, sir, at the UN level.
So why the same model has not been implemented in other districts?
So first of all, Kerala is suffering from the shortage of land availability ever since this problem has arisen. Secondly, the consciousness among the citizens. For example, even though we have banned the use of single-use plastic, it hasn't been effectively implemented. There is no proper checkup. Even the citizens are not properly aware about the ban of single-use plastic. So this has contributed. And thirdly, waste to energy plants, which are the mainstay for the conversion to energy, hasn't been functioning properly as seen recently in Cochin, sir. So this has contributed to the problems.
Okay. And what the central government has done with respect to non-usage of single-use plastic? Are there some new
So,
rules related to it?
so from 2022, effectively, we have banned the use of single-use plastic above 75 microns, if I'm correct, sir. Secondly, we have said that there should be formalization of a rack pickers. Thirdly, we have introduced the concept of extended producer responsibility, whereby the producers are made responsible for the recycling. And fourthly, we are focusing on circular economy, whereby we reduce the waste from the source and we'll try to reuse them and convert into more profitable source.
But these extended responsibility and circular economy, we came up, I think, 5-10 years back. It was there also in the solid waste rules of 2016. So why it has not been implemented in last 5-6 years?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about the nuances. I'll read about it.
Okay. You have also mentioned you worked as a de-addiction in the de-addiction center, right?
Yes.
Tell me,
Sir.
what are the problems which you have seen in the de-addiction centers?
So the most important substance abused is alcohol in Kerala. So alcohol is the most important substance abuse. The thing is that the person who abuses alcohol always abuses the partner also. So most probably the partner suffers the most. So they may need treatment in most of the cases that which I have seen. So I am taken care to ensure that the wives or the mothers of the patients are also getting treatment properly. Secondly, because of the rising unemployment, more youth are being attracted to newer modalities of substances like synthetic drugs like MDMA and LSD. So this also needs attention. Thirdly, when I went to schools, I found out that even younger children are used as carriers now in schools by enticing them into the drug trade, sir. So this also needs probably attention in the future.
Okay, and do you know any other state who is also facing the problem of drugs?
So Punjab is facing a problem of drugs.
How the Punjab drug problem is different from Kerala's drug problem?
I think Punjab has a geographical proximity to Afghanistan for the drug opium triangle. So there is a proximity to that. And secondly, Kerala, I think the mostly alcohol is the main problem in Kerala and compared to Punjab, where synthetic drugs and opioids are mostly abused. So I think these are the main differences.
Okay, but don't you think it is not a good irony that on the one side Kerala is having such a high literacy rate, and so a literate person is aware about the positives and negatives of the things which they are consuming, and on the other side that alcohol consumption in Kerala I think is one of the highest there as well, which impacts their social life also, health also. How you justify that irony, how it is happening there?
So I think one thing to do maybe is that Kerala has had a high remittance and high income over the past 30, 40 years. So when the people had high income, they started investing that into alcohol and other recreational drugs maybe. Secondly, sir, I think the local toddy has been a favorite for the people over the past century, extracted from the coconut. So people had the habit of consuming that, which gradually changed into foreign liquor and the newer drugs, sir.
I asked you a question why the literate population is doing it, where all that accumulated knowledge is suddenly gone when they consume alcohol. Why they are even consuming it when they know the negative consequences of it? It's not like one-off event which is happening. It's like everybody in the village is consuming, for example. If it must be concentrated in some households, some villages.
So I think from what I have seen in my work experience, if you go to the lower middle class and the lower classes, they might be engaged in manual labor and other agricultural activities daily. So after that, in the evening, they want to spend some leisure time with their friends, and for them, alcohol usually in a small
You
amounts.
mentioned that they are consuming because remittances is coming. So if remittances is coming, they are not into lower middle class or lower class individuals.
Sorry, sir, I stand corrected there. If you're talking about the lower middle classes, I think this is the reason. For the higher classes, I think social drinking is widely accepted in Kerala now as a habit, especially with the tourism facility developing and people having exposure to many different cultures. So I think these two reasons could be attributed to the rise.
So you don't blame the government not to create enough awareness and all, and not teaching in schools curriculum or college curriculum about the negatives.
Yes, sir, that is also there. I'm sorry, sir, I missed the point.
Okay. Okay. So have you, during your working in the de-addiction center, any steps taken by the hospital, creation of some committees, and in general society, residential welfare associations working on that? Is there anything which is happening around it?
Yes, sir, there's something called an association called Alcohol Anonymous, which is a group of people. They meet regularly. They'll share their experiences of how they recovered from alcohol, what are the positive changes that they are bringing about. So I tried to emulate that with the patients that were admitted to my wards. We used to meet every second Sunday. All the patients, they will come back. All the patients who are admitted, who are discharged, they'll come, they'll share their experiences. Their family will share their experiences. So this created a positive atmosphere among the patients, sir.
Okay. And how can we take such initiatives at the level of state?
So I think maybe the state can initiate such clubs in schools and colleges where people can come and share their experiences with the youngsters of what changes they had in their life before and after leaving this menace. Also, Alcohol Anonymous is widely spread throughout the state. So maybe more people can be given awareness about the state of such societies happening, sir.
So is there any committees and in the colleges working on this? No such formal system.
So Kerala has a new mission called Vimukti, which translates to liberation, where the excise department and the health department works together. So they go to schools and colleges. They regularly conduct sports events, classes, and seminars on awareness about the menace of drug use, and also that is happening actively.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, what all are your hobbies?
So my hobbies are playing and analyzing football, then reading Malayalam fiction, and reading about stoicism, so practicing stoicism.
Reading or practicing? Or both?
Reading and practicing, sir.
Reading and practicing. Tell me what you have learned out of stoicism.
So stoicism, which is
practicing it?
Sir, I've been practicing this for like past 5 years, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, tell me your learnings.
So stoicism is basically a branch of virtue ethics, which says that virtue is necessary in life. It doesn't mean being emotionless, which is the misconception about people. It has given me certain techniques to practice in life. For example, so one is practicing dichotomy of control. It says that certain things are certainly under your control, but certain things are not. For example, sir, if I take my recent example, yesterday I was traveling and there was a traffic block. The traffic block, which is not under my control, and there is no use taking stress over that, sir. So what I can do is I can maybe get out from my home early so that I can foresee these things in advance, which is under my control. So second thing is practicing of negative visualization, which means that sometimes we need to realize that all things are not permanent. So this has made me more grateful to the things that I have currently, sir. Whether be it my parents' health, whether be it my educational system, whether my career and everything, sir. So these are some of the techniques. And if I'm allowed to expand, sir, third is internalization of goals. Again, that means, sir, the Stoics say that you don't need to focus too much on the results. You need to put too much effort on the effort that you are trying to put, sir. So this has helped me, Alex.
Okay, I'll ask two questions related to it. First one is, suppose you become SDM of one district and you have seen the problem of child labor in your subdivision. And you have seen that a lot of previous IAS officers also tried to eradicate it, but they were not able to successful. So what do you think, that will you accept it that the child labor problem will continue there and all, or you will take some initiatives to stop it? They have tried their level best. They have written down all their learnings out of it.
First of all, I try to go through the learnings about what they have done previously, sir. Secondly, I will realize that there is some part of it where I can control. For example, I'll try to go to the district. I'll try to go to see the families where these are happening. I'll try to counsel them about why the students or the children should be sent to schools rather than being forced to do labor, because ultimately they will be the beneficiaries if students are sent to schools and colleges. So I'll try to counsel them, maybe have an emotional conversation with them about the need for education, about the need for proper health facilities for their children, and so on, sir. So I'll not leave it as out of my control, sir. I definitely try to bring a change.
Okay. My second question to you, can you name any 3-4 kings who actually practice stoicism?
So Zeno was the first philosopher who tried to practice stoicism. Then the famous Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who wrote Meditations, was a prominent
Indian kings, I was asking, Indian kings.
Indian kings who practice stoicism. Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of it, sir. I'll look into it.
Okay, Indian philosophers?
Sorry, sir, I will look into this.
It's not that difficult. Anyways, okay. Your father is working as?
My father retired from Indian Overseas Bank, sir.
Indian Overseas Bank. It's a private sector bank or a government bank?
It's a government bank, sir. Public sector bank.
Now merged, or it has been merged with which bank?
No, sir, it hasn't been merged. It is being planned to be merged.
Planned to be merged with?
I'm sorry, sir, I forgot.
No problem. So the Indian Overseas Bank, that we have a lot of other public sector banks.
Yes,
Why
sir.
the government recently started merging or consolidating these banks? And do you think it was successful?
Sir, merger and consolidation, as you rightly pointed, we recently saw the merger of consolidation of 5 state banks into one single bank of State Bank of India, then the merger of Vijaya Bank and Baroda Bank and so on. So I think it's good to have the mergers, because then we'll have a large public sector bank, which is ultimately the goal of the government, to have fewer larger banks than multiple smaller banks, so that they'll have an adequate capital base, they can take adequate risk, they can disperse loans to, they can have good exposure of loans to different sections of the population, rather than having small banks, sir. So I think it's a step in the right direction, sir.
Okay. Now, related to this, what is happening in USA related to the banking system which is there?
So last week, the Silicon Valley Bank and the Signature Bank, 2 of the biggest banks in the California state, they faced certain difficulties and they had to be taken over by the US and had to be given. They had facing a risk of bank run, which is ultimately guaranteed by the US president that the depositors won't lose their deposit. This was the result of the US Federal Reserve raising or tightening the monetary rates, and the Silicon Valley Bank losing the portfolio, sir.
And what has been its impact upon Indian startups?
So some Indian startups which are based on Silicon Valley, they had deposits of around $2 billion according to the minister. So their exposure wasn't that great when compared to the US startups. There was minor exposures, there were minor exposures. Ultimately, that won't impact the Indian startups or Indian shows ultimately, sir.
Okay, one more question I will ask. And I want you to justify that statement that the father of India's freedom struggle and in general, Mahatma Gandhi was stoic or the follower of stoicism.
Sir, can I take a few seconds to think about?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, can I answer?
Yeah, please.
So I think, first of all, in a sense, he practiced a dichotomy of control when he was practicing ahimsa, because he said that whatever others' reaction, he can control his reaction to that. So in a sense, he was controlling what he could control. So I think ahimsa can be equal to that. Secondly, sir, I think he might have been practicing negative visualization also. Maybe when he called off the non-cooperation movement following the Chauri Chaura incident, he may have visualized that all the positive things that he had done in the past will be gone if he had allowed to continue the violent movement which is happening after Chauri Chaura. So I think he might have been practicing negative visualization also. And third, I think he might be practicing internalization of the goals also, because he gave his best in spite of not being granted the freedom over 20 years. I think he sustained the effort till 1947. So I think that showed his effort also, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, anything else which you want to share with us?
No, sir. Thanks.